Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, if you have a problem on the wing, maybe you don't know exactly who to play on the wing of your 4-3-3, 4-1-2-3 and any other formation that uses a winger, hopefully this video will help you. I'm going to rank all the potential wingers in the game. We have 3 tiers here, as you can see. The first is the bad idea, which is obviously not the far from or also the worst option on the wing. Then we have the okay tier, which is kind of a player who does an okay job on the wing, but might for some reason or another not be the perfect candidate. And then we have great, who might be the perfect candidate. It also obviously depends on your play style, on the type of football that you want to watch. And yeah, so these obviously, guys, are completely my opinions. So all the rankings that I'm going to be doing here are based off my opinions, my experience, and yeah, so if you disagree or if you agree, let me know in the comments and let's begin. So we have quite a few players here, both super players and regular players. I am obviously not going to go into players who are static players, or even though you can try for like people like the hammer on the wing. I mean, I know like that I have seen that before, but I'm just gonna go with the traditional running players on the wings and we'll start there. And we also will start with Hakan, the Gatecrasher. Now, this guy, I'm gonna place him as a bad idea, mostly because he is better as a center forward, even though like at level 11, max level, he does get like up to 43 speed, which is quite a lot, to be honest. And given his intelligence, he can be like kind of useful there, but honestly, Hakan dribbles too much with the ball. His response isn't that great either, and yeah, I don't think he's a very good idea, to be honest. So I'm just gonna leave him as a bad idea and leave you guys to judge if you want to try him out there. Now we have Lee. Lee is an okay option on the wing, guys. Honestly, he's a very underrated player. Lee, his behavior is good, his shot power and skill are absolutely incredible. He is the best free kick taker in the game right now. He's not a great option for 2 reasons. One is that he has very terrible response, like 10 at level 10, very, very bad. And the second thing is that he doesn't like to shoot that much. And is this a big problem for a winger? Like, isn't the role of a winger to kind of serve your striker or serve the players in behind your striker? Yes, that's true. But, given his shot power, given his skill, you'd want him to actually take a crack on goal when he gets to the ball and when he has the opportunity, and he rarely does so. He does, shoot, but it's not very likely. Still, he's gonna be an okay candidate, not great, only because of his response. If he had good response, he'd be an absolute top tier winger, that's for sure. Now, Junior. I'm not a fan of Junior for many reasons. One is because I dislike hammers. They're very one-dimensional, there's not a lot to them. And Junior is simply a hammer who loses the ball more and who runs into position. Now, I haven't really found a good place for Junior in my team, and with low response, low speed compared to the rest of the players we're talking about here, he is just not a very good candidate on the wing. But if you want to have one wing like to play Junior in, and the other to play, someone who's just fast, and use Junior to build your play, that's completely fine. I don't hate that idea, but I don't think it is as effective as having, 2 very highly responsive and kind of fast players on the wing. So Junior will limit you in that case. Now, Intruders. Intruders are pretty okay, guys, and seeing as Intruders and Bertini, the Invader, are pretty much the exact same in terms of behavior, only that Bertini is obviously an improved version of the Intruder, and because of that he has better stats. These guys are exactly the same in terms of behavior. So, on the wing, they are pretty good. They are kind of intelligent, like they can pass the ball back to you. Their response is okay. Bertini is obviously better. But yeah, good, very fast, especially at level 11, which is something I can't wait to see for my Bertini. I want him to get to level 11 for him to start darting down the wing and forcing him into action. The problem is his shooting ability, but a very, very important thing here that I learned from D-Soccer, check his channel out for more great score match videos. Bertini, like the Intruder, knows how to shift his body before taking a shot, and he does so to help you have a better chance at scoring. So what I'm trying to say is that invaders and intruders will usually score more when in front of goal because they can shift their body into a better position, into a better angle before the keeper, in front of the keeper. Now, obviously, this doesn't mean that you score all the time with, invaders and intruders, but they're a great candidate. Honestly, yeah, I just said great, but I've put them in the okay category. I think they have to go in, at least I'll place Bertini in the great category, because Bertini with his added response and, better height, better skill, he, I think, is a great option as a winger. The Infiltrator. The Infiltrator is practically the same as Hakan. I think I should have just thrown him into the mix when I threw Hakan there. Infiltrators, guys, it's crazy that we have two of them if you think about it. In my opinion, Infiltrators like Hakan are solid center forwards, like people who just you play in the center of your attack, but still their lack of response, their kind of clumsiness overall is a pretty limiting factor, and you don't want them anywhere near your wing. Now, Goosense, or in general Speedsters, they aren't terrible, right? They're not like someone who you shouldn't consider at all, for one reason only, is that their speed is the best in the game, along with obviously Abubakar and Sabre, who we'll talk about later on. But Goosense, man, with his great speed, he is a potential threat on the wing, but what is a very big limiting factor is his really just stupidity, is the fact that he just carries the ball, and he just, very much like Sabre, will just like dive into goal and try to shoot for himself. When you want to consider someone on the wing, you have to consider players who are fast, responsive, but very important, who also have that kind of altruistic mentality, like someone who will be able to, find an assist and offer the ball to players in a better position than himself. That's why you need someone who is a bit smart, and like Speedsters are anything but smart. Now, a good example of this is Abubakar, the Lightning, who we'll put in the great category. I've used him for ages and ages on the wing. He is practically a speedster, like a better speedster in terms of behavior. He is pretty okay, like mentally. It's like, I mean that his behavior is pretty good. He, even though he loves running with the ball, he will at times stop and see who else is in a better position than him to kind of, give him the ball. He's a good assist man. I do have to, reduce some points from his overall score because of his very bad response. Not very bad, like mediocre, let's say, very average, like 20 response at level 10. It does get a bit better at level 11. But yeah, overall his shooting is okay, and he is very tall. Now, you can use that to your advantage to kind of like send him diving headers, like a cross for a diving header. And yeah, that is an option that you can use. Abubakar is pretty great, guys, I won't lie. Now, Sandberg. Sandberg is another great option on the wing. He is exactly, obviously, an improved version of the Prowler, and the Prowler we'll talk about later on. Sandberg is a fantastic center forward, and if you're not using him as a center forward for some reason, like right now I'm using Fernandez, the villain, as a center forward for other reasons that I'll may have explained in previous videos, and I'll surely continue talking after. But if Sandberg isn't as a center forward in your team, the next best position is the wing, guys, because he is okay speed-wise, not great, but not bad either, especially at level 11 he gets to 39 speed, which is fantastic. But he's also pretty intelligent, he doesn't dribble all the way through on goal like, you know, Abubakar, Sabre, Speedsters, and even Intruders sometimes. Sandberg is ready to kind of stop in his position, see who's upfield, you know, see who's on the other side of the field or closer to goal, and he'll just deliver the ball. And he's got great strength, a fantastic shot. Like, he is a top winger, guys. I can't wait to have this player as well at level 11, because he is he will be my future winger, I'm pretty sure, as long as Fernandez keeps up his appearances, like his top you know, record in front of goal. Now we have Johnson, the judge. Honestly, I'm not sure exactly why he's in this list, right? But I've just included him. Just this, guys, this ranking video is just to open yourself up to the possibilities, right? And I will consider players that might not need to be considered, but you know, I'm just gonna place Johnson there. He's an okay winger, I think, in my opinion. I've never really tried him much there, mostly because of his poor speed, right? He's 30 speed at level 10, 33 speed at level 11. He's really smart though, and that's why I prefer him in my central midfield position, so that he can, you know, switch play, pass the ball back to the keeper, and he's honestly very intelligent. Might be too intelligent for a player on the wing, but you know, with 30 speed it's a very big limiting factor. So, you know, at level 11 you might make the case for him to be a good winger, and I might be able to listen to you there, but I don't think he's a great option. I think he's better used elsewhere, guys. Now, Keene, the Raider. Keene is actually on the verge here, guys. Really on the verge of okay and great. Now, I'm gonna place him as okay. And the reason being is that his dribble trait is astronomically high. Like, he is almost like a speedster in that sense. In the sense that he'll just carry the ball, and he doesn't care who's around him, if it's his own teammates, if it's his opponents' players. He is just someone who will drag the ball, and he might, you know, go through on goal and score, or in many cases he'll just get tackled, or he'll just, you know, like either go out of field. The good thing about Keene is his general stats. He's a fantastic defender for many reasons, being his speed, strength, response, you know, really good, and his marking ability, and that is precisely why many players, I think everyone, really plays him in defense. But I've seen him and I've tried him as a winger, and he didn't do a terrible job, guys. Not terrible at all. But as you see from his statistics, actually behavior below, you'll see that he doesn't like shooting. And man, you have no idea what that little red bar means there, guys. It means that even if sometimes he is through on goal, even if he has like a completely open net with just the little keeper in the middle, sometimes he will just pass the ball directly backwards. Because when players do not like to shoot, you won't convince them to shoot, even if there is an open goal, even if you really believe you could have scored. Players like Keene and the Maestro Lee, although not to his extent, like, they don't like shooting. They just don't, and prefer not to. Now, if they're completely open for a tap-in, yeah, that's gonna be okay, a tap-in. That's a goal. But in most cases, Keene is reluctant to shoot, and I don't trust him there. Let's just say that. Now, Simon, guys, nothing much else to say about Simon, right? Best player in the game, best defender in the game, best attacker in the game. He's fantastic. Speed, strength, reaction, crazy. I love him on the wing, bro. He is just an insane player. Someone you can force into action, someone who's intelligent, who passes the ball back, finds players next to him, goes for a shot, sometimes from too far out, but, you know, That's the least of your worries when you have a player like Simon in your team. Just place him wherever you want, and he'll do fine mostly. As a winger, job done. Now, Sinclair. Sinclair is a bad idea. I don't like Sinclair, mostly because of his poor response and his tendency to dribble. It's kind of is higher than what the behavior down below kind of shows. Like, from my experience, and I've played a few games with Sinclair in the past, he is someone who likes dribbling, man. And, you know, his behavior isn't terrible. He's like a producer, but with the running ability and improved stats. He's not bad, but as a winger, I just don't see him there. I don't see him in any team, to be honest, like who is that is really competitive, like in the Infinity Arena and other tough events. Now, the case could be made that at level 11, like, we can revisit this discussion, but there are better options out there, people. Now, Patricio. Now, Patricio is an okay candidate there. He is pretty much, guys, someone who isn't really considered by too many people, right? Everyone plays him in defense, but, you know, he is not terrible there. His speed is fine for a winger. His reaction is great. Good response. And he's pretty intelligent overall. He does tend to drag the ball a bit too much for my liking on the wing, but, you know, at level 11, I'm gonna give him a go at some point with him on the wing. He's a good player, and honestly, why won't he be good on the wing as well? The thing is that his marking ability means that, you know, he's kind of meant to be played in defense, and, you know, there aren't too many absolutely, like, good defenders in the game, and Patricio's one of them. Much like the guy beside him, Keene, so, you know, why not play those guys in defense if they're, you know, tried and tested to function well there. Now, Cook. Man, Cook, I have a bit of a grudge against Cook, because I don't like him. I really, really don't like him, guys. He, yeah, like, whatever, good speed, good strength, good height, but his response is terrible, number one. Number two, which is a bigger factor in my opinion, is that he's crazy, bro, and not in a good way. Like, he'll shoot from wherever. Sometimes he'll touch the ball at once, like sometimes he'll just keep dribbling. He's someone that I haven't really understood, and maybe that's my problem, but I don't like that kind of player, especially as a winger. When you play Cook on the wing, I have tried this ages ago, he will just, like, get the ball and try a shot, man. Now, that is pretty bad, considering his bad shot, bad skill, bad whatever. But I think I have a suspicion, right, that Cook is good as a winger, but not as a winger who is very high up the field, like 4-3-3s, 4-1-2-3s, etc. I think he's better as someone on the wing, yes, but a bit not as forward, a bit backwards. For example, 4-1-4-1, someone on either side of a 4-1-4-1, he might be good there. He might be good also as someone in the 4-2-3-1 formation, someone in the 3, either on the right or on the left. Those are, I can see him more there, because even if he decides to shoot, he's not as close to goal, so it means that there are other players perhaps more up the field. I'm not sure, guys. This is just my theory, and I'll have to try him at some point there, even though I'm not in a rush to do so. Now, Sabre, the Jet. In my opinion, he's a bad idea, right? But if you're brave, and if you are ready to serve him only when he has a clear path on goal, Sabre is good. Superb speed, great shot, okay response. His problem is just his kind of general behavior. Sabre is someone who you play alongside another player in attack, like a 5-3-2, 4-4-2. Someone who kind of has a path on goal, through the middle ideally, and who just goes for a shot. Sabre isn't inclined to provide assists, at least not really. Before he'll provide an assist, he'll usually get tackled, so, you know, he's someone who just dives through on goal. not my favorite type of player, to be honest. I don't have too many games with him for that fact, like playing him for that very fact. And yeah, he's an okay, like okay is being optimistic here a bit, but we'll just finish off with the Prowler, who is a very, very good candidate, guys. I really love the Prowler as a level 11, of course, player who is someone who doesn't dribble really at all. He dribbles less than Sandberg, but that is a really good fact, man. He is someone who is pretty smart, full of response, full of great reaction time. His height, poor strength, and like poor height, obviously, I should say, are kind of limiting factors, but not that much. He's honestly a really, really good winger, guys. You should play, like, Prowlers are fantastic players to begin with. They are good as strikers, as wingers, as left or right backs. They are a player who can, you know, even as a central attacking midfielder, if you play that way. For example, in a 4-1-2-3 or a, you know, 4-1-2-1-2, someone who is just behind the striker, really good. And on the wing, Prowlers are fantastic, and I really suggest that you play them there, as well as liking and subscribing, and also telling me in the comments below what you think of this list. So we practically have 5 really great wingers, guys. Now, the rest, obviously, everything in this video, as I've said, is my opinion, but I really do believe that these guys up here make for fantastic wingers. These guys are open to be tested, open to be experimented with. These guys, you can just take my word for it that they're not a good idea there, but still, I might be wrong. So let me know if I am. Thanks for watching, people. I'll see you next time.